right, welcome to the Shadetree Garage, and I'm starting work on the Plymouth. As you can tell, this is the interior of the driver's door, and this square shaft is the door latch. Unlike later Chrysler products and General Motors and Ford door handles, there's no C-clip that holds that on. They have a proprietary system, of course, and let me show you what that looks like. All right, there's a square. It is a square unit with a spring on the right side, you see, and so the spring clip is what holds it on that shaft. Now let me show you over here on the window crank. Let me get this out of here if I can. Forgot it started. I may regret this. All right, now this tool appears to be some sort of torture device from the Middle Ages. It is the clip remover, or it's designed to release the tension on that clip that holds that handle and all the interior door handles on, window crank, etc. So, and it's a formidable looking tool. It goes in and catches the ears of that spring, and then when you get it in far enough, the jaws will close and it'll release it, and you can kind of pry the handle off the square shaft. This was not this was not an inexpensive tool, because this isn't something you can go to AutoZone and buy off the rack. Anyway, I'm holding the phone with one hand here, so you can see now I'm running into problems already. There's a piece up here that attaches the trim here to the door frame of the wing vent. One of those screws is totally stripped out. The other one just spins. It's not actually holding anything. And I found underneath the ancient weather stripping, I found 3 other Phillips screws that are questionable. Don't even know if I can get a screwdriver bit in the screws and get them to turn without stripping. So I may be doing a little bit of drilling there. All right, let me pull back a little bit. The door panel has I was going to say there are no screws, but you can see there are screw points here in the door handle. And that really gives it, just like modern cars, it's the attachment points on the door handle that give it its strength so you can slam the thing. All right, there are no other screws that are attaching the door panel all the way around. However, as you can guess, there are clips that attach to the cardboard backing, what there is left of it, and they snap in place. Now, as far as I can tell you, this is some of the original upholstery that was painted at some point. I think you can see that there's white under there. I have not sure what this was. The car originally was black, so I'm not sure what the colors were on the interior. Anyway, my goal, I've got replacement door panels I can create. I have to get these off, of course, and then I will use this trim over once I get the door panel off and see how it's attached. But as you can tell, this door panel isn't really attached too well. And down here I can feel up that the door panel is pretty much dissolved, and that's not unusual on old cars. Just moisture from rain and 68 years of wear and tear. So anyway, just an interesting note on my 55 Chevy that I redid 40 years ago. It had the same problem with the lower door panels, and it was just the lower section of the door panel was suffering from water damage. So my father actually, we removed the door panels, and he repaired the lower door panel backing and kind of fused them together and then reupholstered. There was a piece of trim that went the width of the door, and so he put in new vinyl that pretty much matched the original. So anyway, that's where I'm at now. Just about now that I've understand how to use this implement of destruction here, I can get this door handle off, and we'll go from there. Now, as you can see, this piece has to come off at some point, and that remains to be seen how that works. Anyway, let me get this door panel off, and or at least get the door pull off and the window crank, and we'll see if there's any way to get this off while this is just loose. You can see it has a little play in it. So anyway, wish me luck. We'll give you an update in just a moment. Hang on. All right, welcome back to the Shadetree Garage, and I have a sign of progress. Yes, I got the window crank off, the door latch handle, and so let me give you a tour of what the 56 Plymouth and presumably the 55 Plymouth door look like. Now this rod here, you may wonder, what in the world is that? That, if you are familiar with the 55, 56 Plymouth, there was no lock sticking up there. You locked the driver's side and passenger side window by a crank. You turned the handle one way to open the door, you turned it the other way to lock it once you were inside. And that's what that rod is for, to lock the latch. Interesting, huh? All right, now, if you can tell, clearly this car was originally black, as the title indicated. Now, of course, they didn't paint everything. This is some sort of gray primer, perhaps, or something. Anyway, the door panel isn't in too bad a shape except right here. And why is this so, the backing so poor condition? Well, it's because this panel cover is missing. And so any moisture that came down through the door was going to affect that corner of the door panel. It's also, now looked like there was some sort of cover, but it looked like there was tape there, and then this cover here is missing. Right here and here are the attachment points for the door pull. And as you can see around the edges, there are holes for the door panel to lock it in place. There were only, I think, 3 actually holding it on, in addition to being stuck underneath this. So yeah, that's the story on the door. And I will tell you, let's see, where is it? This tool right here, this implement of destruction, let's see, do I have a door handle handy? Yeah. All right, this is the latching the door. Now, you can only approach this thing, well, you can approach it from 2 sides. The first side is wrong, the other side is right. I struggled like heck to get this first one off up here in this spot, and I struggled and I struggled. And then I realized I had to pull up a picture on the internet of the Plymouth door handle to look at the back of it, to get an idea of what it actually looks like, to use this little forky thing. And after I looked at it, I realized that I was looking, the picture on the internet was of this side, and I was approaching it from this side. and I had the tool placed what I thought was the correct position on this side. Wrong answer. So, but I did get this off somehow. I think it just gave up because I was cussing it too much. Anyway, the window crank, I realized my mistake, and so when I went to the window crank, I put this thing on there, and it damn near jumped off. It was so easy to come off. I'm like, well, live and learn. Now, you know, isn't that the way things go? The first time you learn how it's supposed to be done, but you got to do it wrong at least once. All right, so the door panel is off, and there are on now the next job is going to be, this piece is loose. However, up here on the front of the door, there's a stainless steel panel about that tall and about 4 inches wide that actually connect the wing vent assembly to the physical door. All right, now I thought there were only 2 screws on it, but then I tore away the deteriorating weather stripping, and I found 3 more really rusted Phillips screws holding that thing in. So one of the Phillips screws I had access to is already stripped, so it looks like it's going to be drill bit time on that one. The one next to it just spins. It's not, I can't get it out though, but it just spins in the hole. Obviously the other 3 are actually doing the work and holding it in place, and I think I may give those some treatment with some WD-40 treatment. You know, some what do they call it? They're rust not inhibitor. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is progress, and now I can get to the molding clips on the door from here, and that's wonderful. And I'm thankful because I've been feeling around inside here, and there are no clips that take half-inch screws or anything. They're all spring-loaded clips, and I like that. And I think I'll be able to get those loose. Now I'll still have to crank up the door to get to a couple of them. The inside of the door looks pretty good. There's some looks like a little surface rust and a little looks like there's some sort of undercoating that's actually in place here. There are some rust. There's some rust down in the very bottom of the door. And I think that may be the remnants of the clip that holds the lock cylinder in, because ever since I've had it, the lock cylinder on this door has never actually been secured, and so I need to buy a replacement. The locking cylinder, I can get to the back of the locking cylinder and maybe put a clip on it to secure it. The shop manual is a little vague on how that clip is inserted, and implies that you can access it from the door jamb. Now I have searched it. I can't see any sort of removable clip, which now that's pretty much standard on a lot of cars, to be able to pop that clip loose from the door, the edge of the door, and not have to take the door apart to get the lock out. Well, I haven't figured that out yet, so but that remains to be seen. But I do want to get that secured. Though I will probably go ahead and remove it until it gets painted, and then see about the door handles. I'm going to try to get as much trim off as possible. All right, well, now there are a couple of rust spots showing on this door down in the corners. I felt around there and couldn't find anything, but you know, that's I don't know if the rust is all the way through or just bubbles of surface rust. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this trip here in the Shadetree Garage, and I will have more coming later. And maybe I can get the other door panel off in a day or two. All right. All right, well, thanks for coming back, and progress is progress any way you cut it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time here in the Shadetree Garage.